Hello, welcome to Bible Words in Hebrew. Again, it's been 2 years since my last video. I am elskevahl and I love to learn Hebrew and to teach Hebrew to people who love the Bible. I'm from Holland, so my English is not what it should be, I guess. So if you hear a mistake, please let me know, because I want to get better. In Dutch, I just started a new series on Mussar, and I'm trying to keep up with English translations and also teaching English again. And I made a study of the word Mussar because as from a year, I guess, I am a Mussar student. I am definitely not a Mussar teacher. I am a student, and the words that I study in Mussar, I also want to study in my own way, namely as a Bible word study. And I thought, well, I could as well share that with you. So this first study in the Mussar series is the word Mussar. And the Mussar is a Jewish spiritual movement that focuses on character traits, and it wants to be an instruction for a meaningful and a holy life, as God says, "Be holy, for I am holy." So in Mussar we focus on character traits. Those are called midot, in singular midah, and we focus on character traits that might form obstacles to keep us from shining our light, and those obstacles we want to remove them in Mussar. In the Jewish faith, there's the belief that God created man good. God saw it was good. That's slightly different from some Christian beliefs, I guess. Well, I'm not sure it's completely different, but there's another emphasis. So man is created in a right way, and what we would call maybe sins can stop us from shining our light. So you could look at this as a lantern, and the glass has gone black, and by removing those character traits that have gone off track, have gone off the rails, we make the glasses of the lantern, clear again, so that our light can shine out. Of course, this is the light that God gave man. Also, well, I'm a Christian, I'm not Jewish, but I have a great respect and I love Jewish teachings. But sometimes you will also hear me say something that Jesus said. Jesus said, let your light shine so that the people may see your light. Don't hide your light. Well, of course, everyone has different character traits that he needs to focus on, and we all know what character traits are a bit at fault in our own lives. So everyone has their own spiritual curriculum. And one Mussar practice is to identify 13 midot, 13 character traits that we need to work on. And for example, work on 13 traits per year. So you work 1 week on a trait, and then the next week you go further to the next trait, and that repeats itself 4 times in 1 year, and then at the end of the year you make an account and you think, well, which of these character traits should I keep with me in the next year, or are there some that I can remove from my curriculum? But you will find that there's always something to work on in our lives. And the way of Mussar is through meditation and writing. So usually in the morning we meditate on, for example, a Bible text that is about the character trait that you're working on. So you concentrate on that text for about 5 minutes, and in the evening you write, and it's called chastisement hanefesh, making an account of the soul, evaluating the soul, and you think back on that day, and you bring to mind what happened to you, and especially in relation with the trait you're working on. And you will find that when you are working on a trait, there will be lessons in real life. So that's about Mussar. Now we go to the word, and Mussar is found in the Bible quite more than once, and a lot of times in the book of Proverbs. And I read to you Proverbs 1 verse 2, 3, 7 and 8 from the Current Jerusalem Bible. That's the translation I'm going to use for these studies. And well, verse 1 is, of course, these are the Proverbs of the lessons of Solomon. And then verse 2, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment, and equity. And verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and do not forsake the Torah of thy mother. So, every time here, Mussar is translated as instruction. So, that's an important meaning of the word. Hebrew words often have more than one meaning, and we're going to find more of those. So, but instruction is a very important one on this word. It's quite a positive word, I think. You know, we all need instruction, and the Lord wants to give us instruction. In the left corner you see Mussar with another letter before it. It's a Vav. If you know a little bit of Hebrew, this Vav means and. So it is stuck on the word Mussar, and this is how you can find the word in the Bible. Mussar in my dictionary means chastisement, punishment, correction, instruction, discipline, and self-control. So you see there's 6 translations here of the word Mussar. So when you find the word in one place in the Bible, maybe you could translate it with one of the other ones. So when we go back to Proverbs, to know wisdom and maybe self-control, or to receive the chastisement of wisdom. You know, you could, it's the whole range of meanings that we can read in the text. Well, in Hebrew tradition, when a word is built of similar letters, often there can be found a word connection. There's much more to be said about that, but that's too much for now. Well, when we look at the word Moser, it's the same word as Mussar, but with other vowels, and it means fetter or bond. And I think, you know, getting control of bad character traits that can break bonds, but also instruction can give us a good bond so that we don't go astray. Sarar, also built of letters that are used in the word Mussar. It means to be refractory, rebellious, to apostatize. And we see that there's a resh 2 times in this word. So resh is the letter of the head, the human head. So maybe we are not open to instruction with this word because we trust too much on our own understanding. Mussar means to chastise, to reprove, or to take warning. Well, you can see where that has to do with our word Mussar. Then sur, all the letters of sur are in the word Mussar, and it really got my attention. It means, among other things, I didn't even write down each meaning: to turn aside, to go away, to recede, to forsake, to cease, to turn to apply to approach, to alight, and to remove. And the meaning to remove is in Genesis 8 verse 13, where Moses removes like a curtain or something. I didn't look it up in the English translation, but you could, from the ark when the earth was dry again. So he removed something so that he could see clearly. And well, that sounds like cleaning the windows so that the light could get out or in this matter. And the word sur appears for the first time, and that's a big indication for the meaning of the word, in Exodus 3 verse 3 and 4, where Moses turns aside from the way he was going. He forsook the way he was going to investigate the burning bush, and that's of course where his calling happened. So very interesting word, sur. And then Mossad, the last letter is different from Mussar, but Mossad means foundation, basis. And I think, in Proverbs 1 verse 7, it was said, the beginning of wisdom is the knowledge of God. And, knowing God is the foundation for any study and for any way we try to improve ourselves. And what do we need to know about God? We need to know about God that He wants us to improve and that He gives us the space for that. That, in Christian belief, we are already sanctified in God's eyes. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but I guess you know what I mean. But still, we have to work on ourselves, and not in a way to deserve more grace or to deserve anything from God. We are already loved and accepted. We are good with God. But so that's the foundation. So when we work from grace, we don't need to get frustrated if the road is long or if we slip, because we know this grace and we know there is forgiveness with God. Characters. The characters of a Hebrew word usually tell us something about the meaning of the word. The mem, the first letter, has a numerical value of 40, and it means water, time in the desert, or waiting time. Time will pass by when you work on yourself, and sometimes you could feel like you're in the desert and things don't work out or anything, but just keep working. Sometimes there's waiting time. Also, the time in the desert is the time when God speaks to His people. Vav, numerical value of 6, means hook, connecting item, and it's the symbol of man, because man is the creature that connects earth to heaven by making, by blessing the food and everything that is given to man on earth. And the Vav is one of the letters of the 4-letter name of God. Yud He Vav He. So we must not forget that. Samech, numerical value of 60. It's a letter of snake, serpent, opponent. the one that tries to remove you from the good path and to go off the right track. But it also means sustenance or support. A force that's against you can also help you to choose the right way, because you really want to run away from that force. So in that way it can also give you support. Then the resh, numerical value of 200, means head or predecessor or also principle. And it also means beginning. I must think of the beginning of wisdom is the knowledge of the Lord, or is the fear of the Lord. That's also in the letter resh. In a Hebrew word study, I like to compare verses that are that contain this word. And the first mention is Deuteronomy 11 verse 2. First mention also says a lot about the meaning of a word, and it is the only time this word appears in Torah, in the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. And know this day, for I speak not with your children who have not known and have not seen the chastisement of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm. So, chastisement, that's how it's written here. It can also mean any of the other 6 meanings of the word that we have seen. And what struck me was that it says, your children have not seen the chastisement. It's not, they've not heard of it, or they've not read about it, they have not seen. And when God instructs us, or when God chastises us, it is about seeing a lot of the times. It happens to you in real life. There's problems that you think, I've encountered this problem or this trait of myself for the 100th time, so you see where you could be better or where you have trouble. Mussar also appears in the prophets, and I've chosen this verse, Isaiah 53 verse 5. A very well-known verse among Christians. But he was wounded because of our transgressions, bruised because of our iniquities. His sufferings were that we might have peace, and by his injury we are healed. Well, for this study, whether you believe this verse is about the Messiah or about Jesus or about someone else, I think this verse tells us that it is possible for us to have peace, and it is possible for us to heal. You can say, well, that's just, you can't say that, but maybe you should. That's just how I'm wired. I was built this way. You should deal with it. It's just who I am. That's only true for, not very much, I think, for a little bit. We can be healed of our bad traits, or we can be better. God supports that. There's also, I will come to that in another verse. Zephaniah 3 verse 2 and 7. She did not obey the voice. She did not accept correction. She did not trust in the Lord. She did not draw near to her God. In verse 7, I said, surely thou wilt fear me. Thou wilt accept correction. Then her dwelling would not have been cut off, according to all that I had threatened to bring upon her. However, they were up early and corrupted all their doings. It looks like God is disappointed in his people. He sent them correction or chastisement or instruction, or, he sent them Mussar, and they did not change their ways. in the Jewish belief, should I say a bad prophecy, a prophecy that something bad is about to happen, does not have to come true. We can see that in the book of Jonah, of course. When people show remorse and they turn away from their bad ways, a negative prophecy does not have to come true. And well, in this verse we clearly see that God does not show us chastisement, or what could be better to to judge us. He shows that so that we will take correction and with his help turn from our bad ways. First mentioned in the Psalms is Psalm 50 verse 17, seeing thou hatest instruction and dost cast my words behind thee. Try to love instruction, and because I think God gives us instruction because he loves us. Last time we find the word in the book of prophets is, then I saw and I considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. And the last verse of this study is Job 36 verse 10. He opens also their ear to discipline and commands that they return from iniquity. So, it is God who opens our ear to discipline. He helps us return from the iniquity we have done. One of Job's friends is speaking here, and if you read the whole thing, this friend thinks that people who return from iniquity and people who do almost everything right will have a blessed life. Well, I think that's the most important reason why the book of Job is in the Bible, that also people who do their very best encounter a lot of trouble and heartbreak even in life. But I think this verse is very true. In the beginning of the study there was a very little bit of grammar. I told you about the wav that was connected to the word Mussar, and so that it meant and Mussar. I learned Hebrew for the first time with this course, Hebrew in 6 days. It is called the Aleph course, or Aleph cursus in Dutch. I also teach this course, and the book is very valuable. So when you think, I want to know more of this, go to the website of Study House Reshit. It's a study house in Israel, and or to my website elskevahl.com. You can find more information also there. Here's also some Mussar books by Ellen Morinus. They are very readable, modern books, but there's a lot of quotes from ancient sources in the books. If you want to start doing Mussar, I think Everyday Holiness is a very good book to start with, or if you want to know more about Mussar. This was a study for now. The character traits I'm working on, I get them from my Mussar teacher, so I'm not in a cycle of 13 traits this time. I take lessons, and my teacher comes up with traits. So the next trait we are going to do is fear. It's not a very positive one, but that's where I am now. If you want to know more, you can go to my website elskevahl.blog. And if you want a heads up with every new video, you can mail to elskevahl@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Bye.